African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of August 24, 2025. Units of the North Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized, 3 airborne assault, a Ranger Brigade, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Yunakovka, Alekseevka, Volchansk, Sadki, Bunyakino, and Novaya Guta in the Sumy region. On the Kharkiv direction, damage was inflicted on units of mechanized and motorized infantry brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Oguntoye and Volchansk in the Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost more than 170 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, 4 cars, 6 field artillery guns, including 3 of Western manufacture, and a radio-electronic warfare station. 6 ammunition and material supply depots were destroyed. Units of the West Troop Group improved their tactical position. Damage was inflicted on formations of mechanized, assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Yunakovka, Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region, Karpovka, Kirovsk, and Kaladizi in the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to over 220 servicemen, a tank, 4 armored combat vehicles, 11 cars, a Western-made artillery gun, a counter-battery warfare station, and 5 radio-electronic warfare stations. 4 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the South Troop Group occupied more advantageous lines and positions. Damage was inflicted on personnel and equipment of 4 mechanized, an airmobile brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Marine brigades, and territorial defense in the areas of the settlements Alexandro-Kalinovo, Seversk, Stepanovka, Konstantinovka, and Yunakovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost over 175 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 5 cars, a Western-made field artillery gun, and 2 radio-electronic warfare stations. An ammunition depot and 2 material supply depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Troop Group liberated the settlement of Filia in the Dnipropetrovsk region as a result of offensive actions. Damage inflicted on formations of 2 mechanized, assault, and Ranger brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, a Territorial Defense Brigade, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Zolotoy Kolodez, Krasnoarmeysk, Oktyabrskoye, Rodinskoye, and Dmitrov of the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to up to 420 servicemen, 1 combat armored vehicle, 2 artillery guns, 13 vehicles, and a counter-battery warfare station. 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the East Troop Group continued advancing deep into the enemy's defense. Damage was inflicted on personnel and equipment of mechanized and assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Kamyshyvaka and Novokatskoye of the Donetsk People's Republic. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost over 230 servicemen, 5 combat armored vehicles, 11 vehicles, and an artillery gun. An ammunition depot and a supply depot were destroyed. Units of the Dnieper Troop Group inflicted damage on formations of a mountain assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Kamenskoye, Primorskoye, and Malokatarinovka of the Zaporizhia region. Enemy losses amounted to up to 55 servicemen, 11 vehicles, and 7 electronic warfare stations. A supply depot was destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian Armed Forces troop groups inflicted damage at the storage locations of Operational Tactical Sapsan missiles, a UAV production workshop and warehouse, and temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations in 146 areas. Air defense means shot down 3 HIMARS multiple launch rocket system rockets of U.S. production and 172 airplane-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the start of the special military operation, destroyed 665 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 79,322 unmanned aerial vehicles, 625 surface-to-air missile systems, 24,755 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,588 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 28,873 field artillery and mortar guns, 40,314 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.